Want to discuss offline? Okay, too late.
You're now live. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay.
My bad.
Button.
Let's do that after the meeting. So welcome everyone for the Node.js security working group meeting for December 3, 2018. We don't have a huge agenda today, so let's start with it. The first item is vulnerabilities from academics. That's issue 415. I guess the idea is how can we integrate this set of data into our database. That's pretty big. That's probably 50-ish modules. What's the best way, in your opinions?
It's too bad Liran can't speak. I think he was the one who was working most with this.
Yeah, I will translate Liran. Liran suggests we script the import. I think we can do it, but we need to clarify with Sneak the licensing part with Sneak and Mike and Jamie, because it seems to be yes, probably doesn't worth it to load to HackerOne, but we can steal it to the DB. Okay. So Liran has a MS tool idea. I suggest we give the issue to Liran to handle through a smart tool. What do you think, Liran? Okay, Liran says sounds good.
Okay.
So yeah.
Question about that. Sorry. So the top of the, like Davey's, his first comment was, "I don't think all were validated or responded, so I'm unwilling to share publicly." How does he feel about us running a tool on the spreadsheet, generating a bunch of JSON and adding it to our database? That would essentially be sharing it publicly. I mean, some of these might be effectively 0 days.
True that. So we need to identify which one are 0 days and should be discussed with maintainers, right?
Yeah. We don't really have a way of sharing private data, do we? Like we don't have an equivalent of the Node.js private GitHub repo or.
So yes, as Liran says, we only do that through HackerOne, and we invite maintainers in the dedicated repo. But that means we have to create a report for each of the issue that we want to ping the maintainer of.
How many issues are there, Liran?
He hasn't checked.
Okay. Kind of wondering if there's tens, hundreds, or thousands.
So checking the list quickly, there are at least 50-ish, 30-ish that have been handled to Sneak. So I don't know how many are. Okay, he says more than 300 in the introduction.
Oh, okay.
So fields.
But even Sneak only imported about 30. I wonder if they're all actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like it's the output of an automated system, and maybe it might be that not all of these things are vulnerabilities. Maybe.
Yeah, we have the same issue with a company in the Bay Area which reported us a lot of other issues that are all the same but in diverse modules. And since it has been automated, discovered, we have to ensure the exploitability of each of them before raising a report. Otherwise, we are just making noise for not much, right?
Hmm.
automating is complex because if we want to automatically contact authors, we know how it goes with the ecosystem. I mean, some people can be really responsive, and some people can be really unresponsive. Some modules are just not maintained anymore.
One of the issues strikes me is that if we import, if there's some like sing-song npm package and we import it and say it's vulnerable to a regex attack, unless there's some sort of human interactions, we won't know if it ever gets fixed. Like, who's the person whose module it is might just not fix it, in which case we would say that they're all vulnerable, or we would have to like go back periodically and check. And I wonder, I don't know if npm's audit is pulling from this repo. I guess one of the plus sides is if we do just bulk mark modules as vulnerable in this security working group or vulnerability database, and if that did make its way into npm, and people who were using the module started seeing nasty warnings during npm install, that might be enough social pressure to put, like, they might even just come back and say, hey, listen, that's not a vulnerability. You found a regex in our test suite. And we could be like, well, okay, cool. But it would kind of maybe be a good thing if it pushed the onus of dealing with it back out into the community rather than 3 or 4 people here trying to work through 300 vulnerabilities and see if they're all real.
So reading Liran's, if many of the modules are old, then it doesn't seem like a bad idea to just disclose. For the maintained and popular items, we'll of course reach out to maintainers. Need to look at the data first and figure out. Yeah, I kind of agree with Liran. Also, we had an issue a couple months ago of someone who complained about a report that was not actually a real vulnerability, and who complained that it impacted their development process because, right, we reported a vulnerability that could not be fixed because it was not one. So the person complained publicly on the working group.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like where we are now is that Liran, who's the only person with access to this spreadsheet, has to like basically spend some quality hours going through it and get back with a recommendation then, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Let's agree on that. Liran should go through data. Okay, I think Liran is connected from. Oh, here he is. I think Liran is back. So if that works for you, let's move to next item. And Liran, we said you could go through the data set and give a recommendation based on the content of the data, how many modules are outdated, how many are still maintained, and what action you recommend we take. And Liran on first, sounds good. Sorry for bad connection. No problem, Liran. We get it. Okay. So let's move to next item then. Next item is issue 402, refactor report ID field to be auto-generated. I think the deadline is past due, and Liran was handling that. I think Liran, you are good to go and move forward with that, right? Yeah, Liran said basically we're good to go. And he already has the script to do it. So I will remove the, I will keep the security working group agenda tag. Okay, Liran might have a question. Do you want us to do it only when you move everything to the new repo? Good question. I would say no. I would say we should move everything at once, because moving to the new repo will not happen overnight because of the 60-day buffer we have before moving to the new repo. What do you think?
We're not planning to change existing vulnerability numbers, are we? Or just new ones that are coming in?
I'm not sure. I think that's all of them. Okay, old ones to everything, says Liran. Liran, for moving to the new repo, we said we wanted to have the two repo live at the same time, meaning that there will be one period of 60 days where the old and the new repo are synced up. If we want to change okay, Liran seems happy to update IDs right now, even in the old repo, which works for me too.
I don't have a lot of stake in this game, maybe, but is it a good idea? Aren't IDs supposed to be stable and eternal? Should we really be changing them? Is that helpful to anybody who's currently imported our database? Is suddenly going to have a deduplication problem. They're going to have all of these new reports with different IDs, and then some. They might not thank us for that, or perhaps I misunderstand how they're using it.
No, I think that's a very good point you're making. And so Liran says, yeah, but we shimmed a few times already for input from the community. And it's true that nobody actually objected.
Well, but I just read through the issue, and I don't see. No, I don't think anybody objects to us using a better report ID, but I don't see anywhere where it said that all of your existing report IDs are going to change and you'll have to deduplicate them or deal with that somehow.
Yeah, you're making a good point, and I feel like Liran agree with you. I guess it's possible to just do it for new report. So I have an idea. We can use new ID for new reports. We will generate new IDs for the old reports too. Don't stress, Liran. And this way, all reports will keep original report ID, but we'll also have new ideas, having the two systems cohabitating with, I assume, a different field name for the two IDs, for new and old IDs, which will be like not breaking change for anyone at this point, right? Sorry, Sam, I can't hear you anymore.
It shouldn't be breaking change. No, not for new. Hopefully nobody's relying on the structure of the report ID.
So Liran says there might be a breaking change because the ID is no numeric and we will make it a string. Yes, Liran, that's why I suggested we use two different fields. We keep the old ID named ID, and maybe we name it vulnerability ID, working group ID. I don't know. And that field would be a string, right?
So personally, given that nobody's objected to the new report ID and it is a string, and I think it would have been unwise of anybody to assume that the ID was some sort of monotonically increasing number or something. I don't have a problem with just flat out changing the ID format for new IDs, and anybody who for some reason was using number in their databases or whatever will have to convert them to strings. That doesn't strike me as terrible.
Yeah, to be honest, as someone who use the content of the database, I just use the ID as strings for a specific reason, but otherwise I don't really mind what they contain as long as they are unique.
Yeah, I agree.
So Liran says, So Sam, I posed this concern on the issue a long time before making this change. We did give it a... Okay, sorry, I misread that. So Sam, I posed this concern on the issue, and please chime in to see if that works for you or not. Because we did give a long time before making this change. Yeah, I feel like we need to move forward at this point. Seems... Yeah, okay. So let's going to minute that. Oh. Run time. The issue moving forward. All right. Seems good to me so far. I think. Thank you, Iran. I think we can move to the next item. Right. The next item is on me, to my biggest shame. Migrate vulnerability database to their own repo. And I have to admit, I haven't moved forward much on that topic. I hope to do that maybe for a Christmas break, or since I will be off on Friday, I'll try to do that on Friday if my surgery goes well. So as soon as I have finished the setup, the automatic synchronization of the two repos, we'll announce the 60 days period of transition, and we will be able to unplug 60 days later. So hopefully by next spring it will be done. All right. And now let's move, if that's all right, to our last issue that has been opened by Liran, nominating Matt Austin to join the working group and the triage team. So nobody objected on that, and the nomination happened a month and a day ago. So I think since a couple of people, Andy, I, Marcin, and Liran, agreed on that, I think we can move forward and welcome Matt to the working group and the triage team. All right. Liran, do you mind handling the onboarding of Matt? Oh, I can do it if you don't have time. Okay. So I note you as onboarder for Matt. And if you don't find time, I can probably do something and take the seat. And congratulations, Matt. I will ping you on Slack to announce you the great news. I haven't checked the YouTube stream. Is there any question there? Okay, so someone asks a question about crypto create decipher is deprecated. I will paste a message in the chat. Hello, Mike. I'm not sure what the question is here, actually. So to clarify, a few methods on the crypto library have been deprecated for diverse reasons, and create decipher is one of them. But I'm not sure right now why it happened.
It's because it doesn't have an IV. We deprecated the non-IV versions, I think.
So, say that again. Sorry, I misheard you.
I think the versions of create cipher and create decipher that lacked an IV were.
Okay. Yeah. And Liran Singh says it's related to event stream incident because it's the way it was used in Node.js. I'm not sure, but the initialization variable rings a bell to me. So yeah, dear integrity, that's the main issue. The method was vulnerable. So Liran, there was no actual question, just this message in the chat. Okay, so I think we can adjourn this meeting. I will be pull requesting the minutes shortly tonight. Let's just not all disconnect right now if there is any private business to discuss, since I missed asking that at the beginning. So Colin, can you turn us offline, please?